So we're back with some detailing content today. So behind us here we have a 2020. This is a BMW X5M Competition package. So top of the top for the X5 range. This is a customer's car here who has booked in for the full correct and protect package with Omni Garage. So we're actually already on day number 3 of the detailing process for this car. Day number 1, picked up the car, we've done the full interior. Day number 2, we worked on the decontamination, so we've already gone through, we've auto scrubbed the car, we've done a full tar removal, iron removal, everything is basically stripped back and bare, and this is going to be us for the next couple of days. So we'll walk around, we'll show you exactly what the car is, what we're working with in terms of the condition, and basically the plan here is just to bring you guys along the detailing journey, showing you guys snippets of what we're doing on this car. Not a full exhaustive how-to, but we'll show you some key bits. Anything interesting that comes along with this detail. So we've actually become really proficient in BMWs and X5s, to be specific.
This actually seems to be the car that seems to feature the most in our, well, more recently mine, but mainly yours in your detailing arsenal. And actually, we seem to have corrected and protected more SUVs than any other car that we've had experience with, which typically is a bit unusual because you think you get sports cars and things like that. But yeah, SUVs seem to be quite popular. But actually, now that I think about it, SUVs are quite a popular car in New Zealand because everyone wants a big SUV, right?
They are, but this is number 4 of the X5. So we've had 2 X5Ms, we've had an X5, well, two other variants of the X5 and then 2 of the M Competition package. So we're pretty used to just working on this car, like it feels really familiar. And the paint is actually reasonably easy to work with on these. Now I'm probably speaking a little bit too soon on this one here. I have worked on a blue X3 BMW before.
Yeah, and we've also had that Mercedes-Benz that was also blue as well. So just straight off the bat, this paint and this colour is going to pop very nicely. It's going to pop way better than your standard black car or your standard white car, just because it's got some colour in here. And now that this is a nice, clean, bare surface, we've taken everything off that we can with our decontamination process and our decontamination soap. We knew that because there's lots of water sitting on this when it was wet, and that's sort of a little bit of evidence that some of those layers have been stripped back, and that's given us the ability to be able to have a look at what kind of surface we're going to be working with this paint. So you can see, I don't know if Glenn will be able to capture this in the light there, but
we can see that there.
There's a lot of scratching on this car. Now, it's relatively long stroke type scratching. There is a bit of swirling, so I think, I'm just having a guess here, but maybe this car gets dry wiped quite a lot. You know, when you've got your car nice and clean and it's week 1 post being clean, you find a bit of dust and stuff and you might want to dry wipe it, because this is some scratching and just in this sort of area here that we haven't really seen too much before. It looks like towel marks, you know, towel wiping.
Yeah, they're very straight lines. They're not too swirly like what you'd find from an automatic car wash. And then as you get down the side panels of the car, it's very similar as well. We probably won't be able to see very well on this side.
You can definitely see here on the bonnet. And so what I think, so usually you get scratches from like rubbing your mitt around like that, and there's, I suppose, gaps in between the scratches. But here, when it's all like, almost looks like rash, and I think that's just dust being wiped with the cloth. So those will come out really nicely, and I think most of these scratches will be able to correct out a lot. There are a few bits and pieces here where we've got some deep stuff where we've actually taken off layers of paint, and anything where you can get your fingernail stuck into that scratch, you're not going to be able to correct that out.
Just to clarify there, we haven't taken off layers of paint. We've got some scratches where it has taken off a layer of paint.
So if you can get your fingernail stuck in, then you can feel it.
It's not going to correct out.
It's not going to correct out. But a lot of these other sort of marks will come out. The glass is in pretty good condition, so we don't have too much water spotting or anything like that, which is good, because the last car we used, or we had lots of water spotting. There are a few big water spots here. These should come out all right. just on the top there. There's one there.
Yeah, a couple of big ones.
And there's a couple there. And then there's the odd ding and the odd scratch and the odd sort of bits and pieces like that, which we're not going to be able to solve. There's a bit of this front clip here, looks like it might have just
been grazed against something.
But what's really noticeable, and even you said this the other night on the X5 that you've cleaned before, there seems to be this bottom rocker here gets a lot of gravel rash.
Yeah, it almost looks dirty from a distance.
It's probably best if you go around the other side. It looks, so if you look from like here, it's all gravel rash, and along there,
yeah, so down there,
it's just those big wheels, and there's no guard there, and so you are getting lots of stone chips and bits and pieces off the road, just smashing all the way along.
And it goes pretty much, I would
all
say,
the way across nearly
3/4 of a foot.
Because then it starts to happen again down here.
And you can actually see with the sun there really well on this door, the type of scratches that we're going to be correcting out of this car. Again, lots of straight lines in there. So
the customer's actually, for a 2020 car, the customer's actually done a really good job in looking after this vehicle. I think, so kudos to them. They've taken good pride in this car, and so we're just going to be able to take this car to the next level, and I think we're going to be able to do a pretty good job here.
We just taped off a couple of sections of the hood here, so we're going to work on a couple of test spots. The first area we're going to do, we're just going to try some perfect finish just to see what a one step would get us in this area here, and then depending on the results we'll move into the next section and we'll try our tried and tested 2 method with cut max and perfect finish.
That was 4 easy passes with Sonax Perfect Finish on a Rupes yellow pad. Let's see what we've got. What do you think? I think you're going to struggle to pick up a lot of these scratches. No, bear in mind that when we come up here, I haven't quite got, and here we haven't quite got. But
it's done a really good job. So just taking the top there, coming down, this is uncorrected panel. And then we hit the tape line and we move in here. It's done a pretty good job, but there is some deeper scratching. So this has picked up pretty much the majority of...
Does the light help out?
Nah, yeah, that's all right. So take that back. Go, go, go. Yep, see, so we've got a lot of, it's not really swirling, but we've got a lot of straight lines there. And then you come through. So Perfect Finish has done a good job at getting a lot of that out. It's really just the deeper stuff. I think we're going to have to go with a 2-step process here.
So that's like a cleanup almost of the surface. And now you can see, yeah, you're right. Those deeper scratches do need something slightly heavier. There is a bit of pitting on the paint here, and then there is a lot of short, sharp scratches, and we'll see if we can remove those. We'll do it on this panel up here.
So we're going cut max on the Meguiar's microfiber pad
for our second test spot. So let's reveal the surface. This should have done a decent job of getting those out now.
Yeah, we should expect, especially on a paint colour like this, we should expect to see a bit of haziness in there. It's been induced by the cut max, but definitely a lot less marring and scratching.
How does that look?
We need to bring the light on that. So come from the top, let's go past where you've corrected.
So now we're coming into that correction pass with Cut Max wool pad, microfiber, and now we're coming into the Sonax Perfect Finish on a foam pad. So you're probably not going to get as good a look as what we can right in front of it here, but definitely I can see just even now with the light from up there.
Keep bringing it further.
Definitely not as well corrected as what we've got. So why this is really important to do a test spot is that You find out what's going to work, you find out the method, and time spent now means that you're going to spend less time going, oh, maybe the method wasn't quite right. And so we often spend quite a lot of time doing this just so we get it right. We know what's going to work on majority of the paint. There might be a few spots where we're going to have to work a little harder and try a few different things, but I think majority of that, by the time I do another couple of passes of perfect finish, that will just help bring out the gloss, get rid of a little bit of haze. It'll remove some little light defects, and that will just really make that pop. So we'll finish off that little spot so you can see what the end result of the polishing will look like, and I think that's what we're going to lock in and do that for the rest of the car.
Just completed another 4 passes of that perfect finish. And it's just added that gloss back in, taken haziness out of it, probably removed a few extra scratches as well, because perfect finish alone on this section's done a pretty good job at removing some of the light scratching. So you still will get some scratch removal, but it's mainly to add the gloss back on top. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think that's acceptable.
So we've got our process. So we're going to be using Cut Max, perfect finish. We're going to power on here and we'll just bring you along the journey.
Welcome.
So
how are we doing today, mate?
Day number 2. We actually made some pretty good progress yesterday. We got through all of the glass on this side of the car. We got the pillars, so all of these gloss black pillars done. The upper sections of these doors, which we've been working on with 3-inch pads.
So the car looks dusty, so don't go, oh, these guys have done nothing. When you do a compound session, you get dust everywhere. You get a bit of compound sort of flicks everywhere, and so the hood looks beautiful. Trust me, it looks beautiful underneath.
It does, underneath all the
I spent a good couple of hours on
polishing dust on there.
But underneath that, it looks really nice. I've done this door. Look at the bottom here. So that's all gravel rash. So you're never going to get that off. But we'll be able to jewel it up a little bit. You'll be able to jewel that up with a 3-inch. But you found a nice discovery this morning using wool pads. So we didn't actually try that yesterday. And we've converted to a wool pad because we seem to be getting slightly better correction with the wool pad. So you just got to work out how the paint reacts in different pads. So you want to start with different compounds, and then maybe play with different pads and then see how it goes, because I feel like this is correcting out way better than the Mach 5 yesterday.
And I think that's just finding the right compound and pad combo for each specific paint. And I think with this car it's been working pretty well. The Meguiar's microfiber has been working all right. If we've been changing old though, isn't it? Pads regularly, we have to change them almost.
See, this pad's starting to look quite matted. We don't have very many wool pads either.
Yeah, the issue that we find with wool pads as well is that it starts to tear around the edge. This is a good pad right now. No, it's not. So it's just starting to get to that point of tearing. So
be careful, because that will fling off. We've had them fling off before. But you can see in here, so I've used this for sort of half a panel or so, but you can see that old wool pads start to get quite matted. See how we've got reactivation of the fibres here, which is what you want. But this here starts to get quite matted. Compound sort of sticks all these fibres down. You can use the old Ruper's brush to try and reactivate these fibres.
It's really hard to get it back out, and as soon as you then push that back on, in a perfect world you'd have like 20 of these for a detail, and you would just change them instead of cleaning them.
So this is getting pretty rough here, but that's the way it is.
So game plan, we are trying to get these 2 doors here done before we have lunch today. And then on the other side of the car, we're pretty much trying to get it symmetrical. So get all the glass, the pillars done on that side. On the other side around here, we have done the top of the door areas. So from here down, this is all done. And when I say done, we've done the compounding. We still have the finishing polisher doing that, but that's relatively simple in terms of time frame to get that done once you get the compounding sorted. So we're basically doing our 2-step, one step after the other, rather than try and complete each panel as we go. So we're about 10 to 1 in the afternoon.
We're doing pretty well, so half the car's already compounded. We're going to do the other half this afternoon. We should be done by time we shoot out for a little bit of
A little bit of a bite to eat. We're done with our compounding anyway, and then we'll come back and finish polish. This is actually quite interesting. So I've just been working on the back of the car here, and we've got this section here.
I don't know if I'll be able to show very well, but you can see here, you can see there's that sort of dry wiping straight lines up and down here, and then we come to the other side of the BMW badge, and you can see Glenn's done a nice job correcting it out. There is a real deep sort of mark there that looks like a bit of a deep scuff that's fingernail deep, so that's not coming out. But then come back on this side and you can see that.
So our plan for the next hour or so is I'm working on the back section of the car here, trying to basically get all of this sorted. There's a lot of 3-inch work in there. I spent a lot of time on that Bigfoot Mini, and
I've done these couple of doors on this side, and I've just left a little 50-50 here to show you what this gravel rash looks like. So this side back, believe it or not, has been polished exactly the same as we've done the paint.
Bring that light to the right. No, right. Keep going.
Oh, you mean, and then this side here has not been corrected. You can tell there's a bit of a difference. So this side has had reduced, but you can see that there's still a lot of marks and stuff in there. You're never getting that out. Those are stone chips and everything. But you can see it's made it look a little...
It cleans it up a lot, right?
Yeah,
so
that's the word.
That looks like we've left mud on the car. Here, it's more obvious that is gravel rash. So it cleans it up. It's not going to get a great result. But the great thing about this car is that when you're actually standing up, it's angled relatively down, so you can't see it too well unless you're quite far away from the car. So it's going to be the plan for the next little while. Finish off the 2 doors on the other side of the car. I'll work around the back. And then we've got roof and some quarter panels, bumper to go. So still a lot to go on the detail, but that's our plan for the next hour.
Alright, so the plan tomorrow is to finish polishing this car with Sonax Perfect Finish, and then we will have the paint all ready and prepared to put on our Gtechniq CSL, and to finish that with Gtechniq EXO, and those are the type of coatings that Omni Garage chooses to use. So that will really make this blue paint pop really nicely, and hopefully the customer enjoys what we've done to it. Do you like having a fresh pad? Fresh pad's good, eh?
Yeah, I wish we could go fresh pad every panel, but we would be using, wouldn't be a huge amount of pads for the car. I just don't like washing them.
No, I like getting, you know how we've got like some used pads in there?
Yep.
I like getting a brand new fresh pad.
Well, that's a brand new pad. Straight out of the packet.
Yeah, this is the new Rupe's yellow pad. So we're using yellow pad here, Sonax Perfect Finish. I've just got the little bit of the hood left. The car's looking good. It is a bit dusty. And so we'll finish this area off, and then we'll take it outside and blow all the dust off and get the panels really nicely prepared for our first layer of coating. But how are you liking this? Yeah,
the only area where I'm enjoying it. Like, this car is coming out really nicely. We'll get some afters on shot here before we get get into the coating. But the one area that we probably need to just spend a little bit of time on before we get there is this here. So this is the left bumper.
Looks like there's been a bit of a swipe there. So you sort of thought maybe that there's bit of white paint on there, so we'll see if we can chill that out a bit.
Bottom lines, they are scratches right through the clear, but that white line on the top, that is paint on top of the surface, so we should be able to get that paint off, leaving it with those 2 scratches, which we should be able to level off the edges a little bit as well, and get that looking quite good. So we'll show you that. That's going to require a bit of cutting there, but as far as the rest of the car goes, we've been finishing polishing. Final panel left to do is the hood here.
And isn't it funny, so when the paint's all looking really nice, really highly gloss, it sort of amplifies all the stone chips and things like that, and all the imperfections that are on the paint that you can't get out with polishing. So that's the downside of having a nicely corrected car, right?
We noticed that down the side here, so unfortunately there's a couple of stone chips in the door here, but I mean, they were there beforehand. It's just having the swirls gone and having the car at the level it is now, you're right, it amplifies them, and they're a lot more noticeable. But continue working our way up here. So we're just going to follow that same process across the whole hood, get this really glossy, and then we'll show you guys what we do on that bumper and see if we can get that white scratch out. Easy as that. So we're going to have some haziness in the paint there, but same process with the hood, bit of perfect finish.
I think I actually managed to be able to get that scratch out. If I have another go on that...
Well, it's levelled the edges out of it, definitely, hasn't it? So that bottom one, we might be able to get a similar result.
Okay, so this little panel here has now been fixed. So you did see that big white line that was down through the middle of it. That's all now gone. So that was paint transfer from another vehicle. That's come off. You can still see, if you look really closely, although I'm not sure the camera will pick up, those two horizontal lines, one there, they run the length of the panel and they actually come up onto this fender here. This here is, I guess, one of those parking sensors, and so you've got to be really careful in that kind of area with the 3-inch pad, because that's the smallest pad that we have, to try and get that out. So we've just done a light polish over the top, hence why those are still there. I think if you tried a little harder you could probably get them out, although who really knows. But I'm really happy with the result of that, and it almost looked like that needed to go to the panel beaters, but we managed to fix it up for the customer.
So we're on to the most enjoyable bit of the detail. This is what we put all the hard work in for.
So this is the coating of choice that we use, Gtechniq Crystal Serum Light, and we're really happy with the results that we've got from using this on quite a few cars now. So yeah, I really do like this process. The car's all nice and clean, so this is pretty much the finished result. This is the paint quality that we're now going to lock in with our coating.
And this process takes us, with the two of us working on it, we're probably about an hour and a half, so 3 hours total to work around the car, if only one of us was doing it, and then we repeat that process when we get to the top layer, which is EXO.
First time setting up your pad here, you just really want to soak it down, and then from there on in it's just a couple of dribbles. The key to this is just being really super organized. So pick a little section that you want to work on, and actually the first time you do this you can actually pick on a bigger section, because we've got quite a lot of product on here, and just stay really super organized. So I'm going to do all of this in one go.
We have pretty quick flash times today. The ambient temperature, it is 26 degrees right now.
And we're going to go up and down one way, then when we get to the end here we're going to flip our pad around and go the other way in like a cross hatch type motion, and that just ensures that we get all the areas.
Yeah, complete coverage
the first time, because sometimes you might have missed it a little bit. And you can see already you're correct. Flash time is going to be super quick here.
This is pretty much going to be wipe on, wipe off today. There
so
might be a 15-20 second gap.
So you'll see it bead up, and as it starts to bead up it'll go quite hazy, and then it's ready to wipe off. I would say probably about now.
Yeah, this is really going to be wipe on, wipe off through the whole process today. When it gets a little bit cooler this afternoon we do EXO, we might be waiting a little bit longer.
It's feeling nice, man. It's feeling real nice. So that's the first wipe. You want to sort of stick to the area that you did, and then you want to get your second towel, and I suppose it's not wiping it off, it's leveling the product. You just want to go slightly wider to where you were, just in case you push that product onto the adjacent panel.
Well, the first wipe is your leveling, so you're probably using a little bit less pressure. You're using your additional pressure when you get to your second towel, because that is where you're wanting to make sure it's removed from any of the adjacent panels. But I think the key here is you're not necessarily removing the coating. You've got to keep in your mind that it's not apply it and then remove it, hard wipe with the towel. You are leveling, and then you are wiping until it has flashed completely off the surface.
That feels so nice. So we're just really going to continue that all the way around the vehicle. So I'm doing sort of half of this door at a time. Usually we take bigger sections, but it's just so hot today that it's flashing real quick. And all along, you know, you're doing your compounding, get rid of scratches, enhance gloss. You do your finish polish, get rid of a few more scratches, refine it a bit, add more gloss. Put on a coating, add protection, add more gloss. And you can see now that it just sort of enhances the blue just that little bit extra. And you can see now that it's flashed over already, got this nice haze. That's the right towel. And now it's ready to be wiped off. And it's just super slick to wipe off. Before, the paint felt quite tacky, and that's just because we removed everything off the surface, and now we're adding this really nice slick protective layer on here, and I think it looks really, really good. Come along for the second wipe. Make sure we haven't got any high spots, because if you get high spots, then you're going to have to get your polisher out and polish them out, and that is super annoying. You really hate yourself when you've done that.
Alright, so we're all wrapped up now. So we spent Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we are Sunday evening right now working on the X5M competition. Keep in mind all of those weren't full days, but Saturday, Sunday.
Collectively, we're in about 50 odd hours on this vehicle.
We are. So, I mean, we've gone everywhere from interior to full decontamination, tar removal, iron removal, paint correction, and then obviously the two-step ceramic coating on here as well. And I mean, you can see the results for yourself behind me here. This is absolutely fantastic. You know, the scratches, all of the marring, any water spotting that was on the surface of this car is corrected out really nicely, and that's the same across the glass, the paint, and all of the gloss black painted areas as well. This vehicle has come up looking basically, I'd say, better than new, minus some of the rock chips that you can see.
A real thing that really does let this car down is the rock chips. So on the bonnet here is the area where there are tons. So
I mean, it's just something that you can't...
coming across here, you can see them. They sort of look like little snowflakes.
You can't correct those out. I mean, that has chipped down to the surface. The only way you can deal with that is by touch-up paint now, or you can preempt it by doing something like PPF early on. But I mean, that's something that you're going to get with pretty much all vehicles unless you have PPF. What's really nice is that we managed to get this area down here corrected out. There was paint on top of the surface where this is grazed up against something, or something's grazed up against this. We had a couple of really deep scratches in there as well, which we managed to level out nicely. So I mean, that area there, that on first look we were thinking, hey, this might need to go to a panel beater to have that area retouched. It's come out really nicely, and when you're standing back 2 feet from it, you would have no idea that it's ever had that damage on there before. Down this side of the car again, you know, there's a couple of rock chips, but a lot of that gravel rash as well, it's still there. But the compounding, the polishing, and then the coating has masked it up quite nicely as well. So it's really enriched the paint.
Not underneath there, but if we come up one layer there, you can see it's sort of, what would you say, it's made the blue paint look even bluer underneath there.
It's just added a colour pop to it, added the richness to it. And I mean, this car, it's a stunning colour. Like, I've really enjoyed working on this, and I think the end result of this, we're not in direct sunlight right now, but we had the sun pop out about 10 minutes ago, and this looks fantastic. Like, great looking colour now. It's all been corrected, and I feel like it's enriched it, and it's looking a lot deeper than what it did when this vehicle came in. So I mean, that pretty much wraps up the detail on this. So as Glenn said, we spent about 50 hours working on this car doing our full correct and protect package. So if you're interested in having the same done on your car, the website link is in the description down below. And I think the results speak for themselves. Hopefully we've got a really happy customer who picks us up tomorrow night. And again, we've added a few tools to our arsenal. We've learned a lot through this experience as well. And there's probably a few different things that we are going to pick up to make things easier for us again next time around. But all in all, that's a wrap on 50 hours correcting and protecting the BMW X5M competition package. Thank you for watching the video, and make sure you stay tuned for the latest content to come on Omni Garage. Catch you later.